It's AJZulu here, and welcome to this after game commentary. I wanted to make a follow up discussion about some new ideas that I had about this new jungle design from the elements of dragons, and I would still recommend you to go watch my previous video on that topic, and that compared to this one that I'll be talking about. The previous one was mainly focusing on how they could have expanded those changes throughout the entire map, or at least make it affect larger areas in the jungle compared to the current version where it only changes practically the buff area, and everything else in the League of Legends map it stays the same, which again, just to clarify, I think it's a little bit, let's be nice and just say, not reaching its full potential. Let's just say it that way. But a couple new ideas just pop up into my mind, and I didn't realize why I did not mention it before. About how the element dragons could again be used to become more interesting. With Dota 2, their map has been very diverse, extremely larger, at least larger compared to League of Legends. You can cut down trees to create new paths. The heroes' abilities interact with trees similar to how heroes interact with the walls in League of Legends, but with Dota 2 destructible trees, it makes the map much more interesting and changes the dynamic of the different strategies you can use in Dota 2 compared to League of Legends. Just with this argument alone causes more diversity within Dota 2 in comparison when we only talk about map design. And with the new patch that came out a couple months ago, where the minions that spawn in the jungle actually gives you some free items and has a tier list based on the timer, it just creates even more diversity and different new strategies with the jungle. Now back to League of Legends once again. It's interesting that previously I spoke about how they took out the ward jungle item, and saying that, oh, they could sort of add a jungle item that maybe spawns certain plants instead. And so a more supportive role such as Ivern could use such a jungle item to spawn more plants instead of waiting for the plants to spawn on their own. Now speaking of which, we actually have the water dragon spawn more bushes, but it also spawns more uh, fruits in locations that are not only in the river side. And that's a really great opportunity for them to actually expand other types of plants based on what element dragon is sort of spawn in the third and fourth round. So let's say, for example, the fire dragon, because it's more explosive, would then have the blasting plant spawn in more various different locations. And it doesn't really have to be locations where you blast over a wall or cliff per se. It could just be in a location where you might want to be jumping over something else, you know. So for the fire dragon, we have the blasting plant that will spawn in more locations. Now the next one we have wind dragon, and for wind dragon, it makes most sense to compare it with the vision plant that gives you vision. And so the vision plant, let's say, would just spawn in more locations once again. I'm not going to specify where they should be spawned. I could leave it up to you to think on your own where they should be spawned to give you like more variety of strategy. Let's say I would wish it to spawn in this location so that it can give us eyes on this other location where we never get to see before, and it just gives more various dynamic in the game. So for me, with Mountain Dragon, they could make some destructible walls And this is sort of would be inspired from StarCraft 2 map design, where there are certain pathways being blocked by destructible debris, and all the champions in League of Legends would need to do is to sort of attack it a couple of times, and so the wall would break. Let's say it takes 3 attacks, like a Zyra plant or whatever sort of um, on hit base uh, object there is within the game. And after a while, let's just say a couple of rocks would just sort of fall and blocking the path once again. This sort of, I think, fits well with the mountain-based dragon, where it's all about moving boulders, moving earth around, and if there are such a thing as sort of destructible locations where it gives you more diverse path, I think that would be sort of quite interesting and something only unique to mountain dragons, and it would only be available when the mountain soul is in the game. um, in the regular game, like with the first two mountains, or if it's like a totally different mountain soul, then there would be no destructible um, pathways at all, and that would sort of make it even more unique. But that's all I wanted to say about sort of this Dragon Soul and League of Legends changing up their map design to be more diverse. And my goal once again is to just sort of push that idea even further. In the last map is how the map itself could change to be more interesting, implementing that idea. And this video in particular is just to apply plants to interact with the elemental dragon much more. So with that said, hope you guys sort of stick through this Shyvana gameplay. This is sort of just placement ranks, and of course I don't like expect too much. Just playing fill. I'm not playing any role in particular. Just sort of autofill base role, and just playing whatever role the game chooses to give me. So I just like want to be playing diverse characters and not really paying attention on climbing per se. Just playing the roles and having fun and doing the best I can. With that said, I'll see you guys next time, which would be pretty soon, where I have another sort of discussion topic that I would like to talk about, obviously. And I hope you guys enjoy this gameplay. Bye for now.